Well, friends, I've always said this. Media is a small world for those of us who work in here. Now sample this. I started my career with Times Now. Then I switched to NewsX. Then to Bloomberg UTV for a brief period. Then back to the Times Group when I joined Zoom TV, which was in the same building as Times Now. And then I joined Radio City. Then a brief stint with Sunil Shetty's company before I came here to Dubai to join a leading radio station called Radio 4. As I switched from one job to another, I kept meeting the same set of people everywhere. So my point is, unlike other industries, here the playground is much smaller and you have to be extremely mindful of leaving your last job on a good note and not burn any bridges, which is precisely what Sudhir Chaudhary seems to have done, who left Z in a shocker of a move. And now in what can only be called as breaking news from the world of television news itself, just 10 days after his resignation from Z was accepted, Sudhir Chaudhary has gone ahead and joined Z's arch rival channel, Aaj Tak, as a consulting editor. He put this video out on Aaj Tak's official Twitter handle.
सोशल मीडिया से मुझे पता चल रहा था कि आप सब लोग बहुत बेचैन हैं, आप बहुत मिस कर रहे हैं मुझे, मेरे शो को बहुत मिस कर रहे हैं और हर रोज रात को 9 बजे हमारी जो मुलाकात हुआ करती थी वो अब काफी टाइम से नहीं हुई थी। और जैसा मैंने आपसे वादा किया था कि आपके इंतजार को और ज्यादा लंबा नहीं होने दूंगा, मैं अपना वादा निभा रहा हूं और आज मैंने आज तक ज्वाइन कर लिया है और अब बहुत जल्द आज तक पर मेरी और आपकी मुलाकात होगी, वैसे ही जैसे वर्षों तक पहले हुआ करती थी।
Interestingly, his own Twitter bio still reads ex-editor-in-chief and CEO Z News Beyond Z Business, former host India's #1 news show DNA. Now, according to an internal email sent to the employees of India Today Group's Kali Puri, Sudhir Chaudhary and Aaj Tak are collaborating to bring to 100 million viewers an exciting new show anchored by him under the supervision of news director Supriya Prasad. Calling Aaj Tak the natural home for Sudhir Chaudhary's household name in news, Kali Puri's email further read, I know the mills have been hyperactive and this announcement should give a closure. Then there's a smiley. He has one of the largest following on social media and a galaxy of awards from every reputable organization. I'm glad that he has taken a call that will not disappoint his fans who are paramount for him. Sudhir Chaudhary had resigned from his position as editor-in-chief and CEO of Z News and WION at the end of June. His resignation email to SL Group chairman Subhash Chandra was accepted on July 1st, and it mentioned his hope to start his own enterprise. However, the buzz in the news industry has been rife that Dr. Subhash Chandra had been seeking to sideline Sudhir Chaudhary for a few months now, which could have prompted him to quit. There was also a raging power tussle involving Sudhi Chaudhary and Rajnish Ahuja, the chief content officer and editor of Z News, who was hired from ABP News in September 2021. Sudhi Chaudhary's absence from his primetime show DNA over the last few days before he put in his papers had also fueled the speculation about his resignation even before the news broke. Lately, the show's logo didn't even feature his picture. Then one day the show was hosted by Rohit Ranjan of Z Hindustan. Now, in fact, sources from within Z even told some select media that Sudhir Chaudhary hadn't been attending Z or WION's editorial meetings for several days before he left. And just days before he resigned, one afternoon, he had left the company's WhatsApp groups as well. If you would have seen his last DNA show, it was kind of against the BJP government, detailing very well how the Maharashtra crisis was playing out in flood-affected Assam and questioning as to who was paying for the lavish 5-star stay of the rebellious MLAs in Guwahati. I saw that show, it was very well done of course, but there are reports of how Z Supremo Subhash Chandra was a little upset with the BJP after losing his Rajya Sabha seat recently. So some news bulletins had become a little neutral or pointed in criticism of late, like Sudhir Chaudhary's show on Assam. But I've heard this was against Sudhir Chaudhary's wishes, said a journalist, not me, who held a senior editorial position in Z until recently, adding that Sudhir Chaudhary didn't want to be neutral as he had built a different image. Now this was reported. But what really started to become a huge problem was this power tussle. Sudhir Chaudhary was a big name in Z, we all know that, and his editorial authority had been unchallenged. But a former staffer said lately there was an attempt to have him share his authority. People were being made to stand parallel to him. There was an imbalance of power that was happening, which he was not happy with. I've heard that he was worried about this, said this journalist, not me again. Sudhir had become Z News. The chairman didn't like this. He wasn't fired, he resigned, but it was a sort of situation where he thought that he should leave before things got worse. Now, while all this is being reported, the truth is that Sudhir Chaudhary had indeed become Z News. It was difficult to separate Sudhir Chaudhary from Z News. And the sources said Subhash Chandra was not exactly happy with the situation, because last September, Subhash Chandra had said in an email to his own employees at Z, people had the wrong habit to know individuals rather than the brand. Now, this reminds me so much of another big exit in the news industry, and that was of Arnab Goswami from Times Now. But that is a story for some other day. Coming back to Sudhir Chaudhary, it was reported that he told a person close to him that Subhash Chandra was upset over his defeat in the Rajya Sabha election recently, and it was certain that now heads will roll. For those of you who don't know, Z boss Dr. Subhash Chandra recently contested the election of Rajya Sabha as a BJP-backed independent candidate from Rajasthan, but lost to Congress. It was also reported through sources that there has been a full-on power tussle playing out in Z News after Rajneesh Ahuja joined. Rajneesh Ahuja wanted to bring in his own people, and Sudhir Chaudhary felt that he was being sidelined as per the sources. Now, this is a very common situation, friends. When bosses leave from one organization to another, they obviously want their own teams to follow. A Z reporter confirmed to a news portal that Rajneesh Ahuja wanted to recruit people from his team at ABP News. But when the time came of showing the internal employees and the world about Sudhir Chaudhary's exit, it was done in the most polished manner. A farewell dinner was organized at Delhi's Constitution Club for Sudhir Chaudhary, where Dr. Subhash Chandra and many other bigwigs from Z were in full attendance. The smiling photos from the farewell dinner were posted on social media. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen those. But now just let's rewind a little and go back to the time when Sudhir Chaudhary had sent that detailed, well-worded email to his boss Subhash Chandra, calling him his mentor and guide, and that he categorically wrote in this email that he is quitting Z to start his own enterprise, and even sought Subhash Chandra's blessings for it. To this, Subhash Chandra had of course reciprocated with an equally courteous email stating that he doesn't want to come in his way of progression. Now, this email reply of Subhash Chandra had read, I had a couple of meetings with him in the last 2 days and tried to convince him to stay back, but since he is planning to start his own venture by utilizing his fan following, I did not want to come in his way of progression. And now today, it's clear that Sudhir Chaudhary has indeed gone ahead and joined Aaj Tak, and soon he will be on air on a primetime show serving his fans his trademark brand of journalism. Like I said earlier, friends, media is a small world, and even the smaller fries often just hop on from one organization to another. But Sudhir Chaudhary, well, he's a big fish. It will be interesting to see now how his exit from Z and entry into Aaj Tak will impact the all-important ratingology of these two rival channels that shape the collective consciousness and the opinion of millions of TV viewers in India. Are you a fan of Sudhir Chaudhary and his style of journalism? Well, if not, then who do you follow in the crowded space of Indian TV news channels to get your daily news fix? And if you are one of the viewers, then pray tell, how do you make sense of the screaming anchors, fighting guests, and religiously motivated debates night after night that play out on your screens in the name of news? Well, let us know it all in the comment section. It's open for you, no debate there. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. It's @ReviewRon. I'm available on Twitter as @Ronak Kotecha. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you like our videos. It's a team effort, so a lot of mehnat goes into making these videos. Do tell us what you don't like as well. But as always, even if you don't do any of these things, thank you so much for watching this one. Please take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.